Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop, and in this part of the video we're continuing on with the rebuild of the Wot4. I'll put the link up here somewhere to the last video or the build series. In the last video we discovered there was a problem, shall we say, with the tailplane area. I'll show you where we've got to with that just now. So what we've got, it might look pretty solid here just now, but all of this is still loose, there's nothing glued in. What I've done, again I don't know how well you'll be able to see, I've actually cut back the fuselage side so it's square, but slightly lower down than what it was. This tailplane was flopping around in the gap between the top and bottom, so I've taken the bottom down just a fraction and actually glued in an 1/8 balsa tailplane seat, with the intention of having to sand that a little bit to square it all up. Now by chance, I don't know how well you'll be able to see looking down that fuselage, with it just slot in, it's pretty square as it is, but there's another little problem. So this in itself is not too bad. When it comes to it, I'll be able to glue to this bottom surface underneath here, and I'll be able to run epoxy into this gap so the bottom of the fin touches the tailplane, I'll be able to run glue in so it actually glues the tailplane to the fin and starts to fill up this gap here. Previously the fin wasn't touching the tailplane, whereas it is just now. The other problem that I've encountered, ignore the clamps just now, I'll come to that. The wing seat isn't quite the same profile as the wing I'm going to be using. So it's rocking around a little bit. And again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, there's a pencil mark just there, there's a pencil mark. That's what I've got to take out to make the wing match. I started having a look at that, and what I found on the other side, and I'm going to reinforce this side as well, on the other side, this join line, how it's been built, you've got this piece of balsa and then this piece here just butt jointed on top. There's no reinforcing on the inside. So what you can see on that side, I've put some reinforcing in just to bridge the joint, because this join on that side, there's no glue in it, it's just flopping around, so there's no strength whatsoever. So that one's gluing in just now. I'm going to get one in this side as well, even though this side's glued, it's going to be stronger to have a piece in the other side as well. So once that one's done, glue that one in, get the wing to sit on properly, as in it was rocking this way. Yeah, it was rocking this way. Get that bit cut out, sanded out, and then make sure it's square the fuselage that way, and then we can make sure that when the wing's on, the tailplane is square this way to the wing. So as I said, looking down the fuselage, it's pretty square just now to everything, albeit ignore this bit here, but the tailplane is relatively square to the wing seat. So it's coming on pretty well. But I'll come back to you once I've done a bit more. Okay, so it's a little bit later on. As I said in the last bit of video, tailplane's all stuck in, it's all square to the wing seat area. It's all been trued up so the wing can sit in. Nothing really exciting in there apart from some old servos. I have taken out the push rods, like the snakes, just to make it easier for working at the back end. Now I mentioned in the last part of the video I was going to fill that with epoxy, which I did to glue it all up, and then I was going to actually use milled fibres and epoxy. I can't actually find my milled fibres just now, so I've put a very thin skim of lightweight filler in there. Structurally it's sound, but I've just put another bit of lightweight filler in there just to fill the gap this side, and the same the other side. So that's drying just now, and once that is dried, we're probably ready for a light sanding. I can probably give it some covering. I do need to take these old hinges out. I've got the rudder and elevators down there to take the covering off. The other thing I've done is the wing is now fixed and finished. Ailerons are all rehinged, all secure, and all good. So it's ready, literally just to band on and fly with it really once it's ready. So yeah, it's coming along. You have to excuse my poor handiwork with the camera here, it's a bit unsteady. It's coming along. The other thing I've done is got the engine on the test bench. I ran that up quickly earlier, totally forgot to film it, but it's still on the bench. I can probably run it again, get some film of that. Every run that I'm giving it, it's running up better. I really don't think it's done much running because it's still really tight on TDC, which is, I can remember when the 40SS engines were new, and you could buy them new. I think you still can possibly, but when you could buy them new quite readily, if you had one that creaked, it was going to be a good one. Took some careful running in to get them going, but they lasted forever. I think this, although this one doesn't creak, I think this one's going to be a good engine simply because it's tight. You know, it's awkward to get going. Throttles well, plenty of power. It's got a 10.6 I think on it. 10.6 running on 5% fuel, so it's going to be pretty good. So as I said, the next part of this is a light sand, and then we start on the covering. I have said to Ewan that he can do the covering on this. It's nothing against Ewan, but he needs something to practice on, and I'm not really fussed what this looks like once it's finished. So he's going to be covering this. We're going to try and keep the same sort of colour scheme as the wing, just to keep it in keeping. No, keep it in keeping, is that the right term? So it's going to be predominantly white with some yellow and a bit of black on it. So yeah, that's all to come. If you're liking this build, this sort of thing, please comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you're liking the video. If you're watching this and you're not already, please subscribe. It's a great help to the channel. But from me, Nick Reeves, this is part of my hobby.